In this video, we're going to create our image plane, so I'll go up to Create, Polyprimitives, and down to Plane. The image plane is already subdivided, but I'm going to change the inputs over here to, see if we select this, we can change our inputs to 1. This way we'll get rid of all of the subdivisions that Maya has put on it by default. So just type in 1 and hit Enter, and now you just have a single plane. So it's made up of one quad or two triangles when it's split. I'm just going to scale it up here, and you can type in something like 10, and we'll make the size of the plane 10. It really doesn't matter at this point because we're only using this plane to build our low poly model or our low poly cage that we're going to use to sculpt. So I'm going to raise it up above the grid just a little bit, so just put like 0.1. And then we'll select it and we'll go to Assign Favorite Material, and so I right click Assign Favorite Material, and then I go over to Lambert, over to Favorite Material, and now in the tab here in the attribute editor where it says Lambert, you can see color is here, so this is how you would adjust the color, or you can click on the gray box and select a color. But in this case we want to put in an actual image. So first I'm going to name it so we know that this will be the top image. So I have a picture that is the top of our object that we're going to sketch, or that we sketched, and then I'll hit the little checker pattern over to the right side of color and click on File. So this way I can import a file, a JPEG or a PNG, some sort of image format. I'm going to search for it by clicking on the folder to the right, select the sketch that I want. So there's the top sketch. Click Open. We can see it in the sample, however it's not showing up in the viewport until we turn on texture. So the little checkered ball in the viewport menu, or we can hit 6 on our keyboard and that will show us the texture. So I'm going to make sure that my plane with the sketch is facing the correct way. The front is facing Z. So I'm going to select the plane and I'm going to create another one by duplicating it. So we can either go to, well, first I'll freeze transformation on it to make sure that it's all zeroed and ones, and then we're going to make a duplicate. Control D on your keyboard with your plane selected will duplicate it. You can see how you can only see one side of the plane, so I'm going to change it by going to Show and then have it display both sides. You have to do that for each viewport menu. So again, you go up to your lighting and make sure you show both sides. With this one selected, I'll go to Assign Favorite Material, and this time I'm going to assign a Lambert to it, so it gets a different material because it's going to have a different texture. I'll name this one Side Image, MTL for material. Again, in color, I'll click the checker pattern and hit the File button that comes up in the Create Render node, and we're going to search for the other image, so the sketch of the side, and I'll click Open. Now I can kind of see it here, it's upside down, but that's okay because we'll just go into our channel box and we'll scale it so that the image flips itself. So we'll do -1, and now we have a flipped image there. And now we'll just position so that we'll make sure that the images are lined up as best as possible. Again, these images are just rough sketches. A lot's going to change, especially once we get our low poly geometry into something like Mudbox or ZBrush to do a high-res sculpt. I'm just using these images as a template so that we have something to work our base mesh off of. So the next thing I want to do is just freeze transformations on everything, scale them up so that I've got some sort of shape again that I'd like to work with. So just using the scale tool here. And I'm keeping the template images in the center, so I'm not moving them right or left. And that's important because we'll end up duplicating and just doing one side of the mesh and then duplicating over for the other side. So you want to keep the center of the templates in the center to help you out. So I'm going to create a layer, and I'm going to double click on layer 1 and just rename it image, LYR for image layer, and click Save. You'll notice if I click the little button also next to layer here, I can template it or reference it. That way I can't select it if it's templated or referenced. and that's kind of handy when you're trying to model things and you don't want to select the planes. So next I'm going to start creating the low poly cage that will eventually be brought into ZBrush or Mudbox.